Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living right here in beautiful Fullerton, California. Thank you all for joining us here today. My name is Tomoko Rosas, and I'm a practitioner here at the center. Please join me in stating our purpose statement. We are a loving spiritual community, empowering all to live healthy and successful lives through practicing the principles of science of mind. All right, so first of all, thank you everyone for attending our fun pool party last Sunday. Big thank you to Scott and Carol Reisling for opening up their beautiful home and being such a superstar, awesome host. It was a lot of fun. Thank you so much. Next Sunday, our guest speaker, Nicole Johnson, RScP of Seaside CSL, is joining us again. It's her second time. Please join us. Also, next Sunday is our prayer wall. As you all know, it's the fourth Sunday. So if you have any prayer requests, or even if you don't, just come on up and pray with the practitioner during service. Okay, let's see, we're bringing back Open at the Top workshop, as I've mentioned a few weeks in a row. It'll be on one Saturday morning, like from 10 to 12, and it's going to be a metaphysical book study, and the book is called It's Time for You to Be Financially Free. Now, who doesn't want to be financially free? It's a spiritual principle that Patricia Rosas of Era of Peace talks about, and all the metaphysical churches actually have been teaching. The details are in the program, and the date will be announced as the groups form. Pick up your book today if you're interested. The Wednesday Spiritual Support Group is ongoing every Wednesday at 1 p.m. And Spiritual Mind Treatment Lab is ongoing on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Our lunch and paint with Karen Thomas will be in honor of Karen Thomas. And we have planned to have it prior to her passing on September 16th, and we will continue to do that in her honor. And it happens to be, the subject happens to be her own painting. She thought it might be a good idea to do one of her paintings. So we'll honor her by painting together as a spiritual practice. Okay, so join us for that. The Unexpected Income Club is doing great. Thank you all for your continued support, and that's going to be it for me, and I'll pass it on now to Jennifer.
To be still and let God love me. I need to be still and let God love me. When this old world starts to push and shove me, I need to be still. Let God love me.
Good morning. I'm Beverley, Brezden practitioner, as most of you know, and it is indeed my pleasure to be in service for you at this time and on this most beautiful morning. And now let us pray, knowing that the holy presence of Father, Mother, God is right here and right now in this, our sacred community of learning. As we open our hearts and minds and are receptive, Spirit blesses each one of us with its inclusive gifts of love, light, freedom, wisdom, harmony, and compassion. It moves in, around, and through us. Blessing for our minister, Reverend Bill, who shares his light and wisdom as he teaches us science of mind principles and how to use them in our lives. Blessings for our beautiful music staff, Jennifer and Tommy today, who share with us the healing power of music. Blessing for our board members, the office staff, our practitioners, greeters, junior church teachers, and the children. Blessings for those who have prepared the feast of plenty for after the service. And for this, we are so grateful, and so much more. Our reading this morning is titled Grandma's Hands. The anonymous writer, couldn't find who wrote it, is visiting her beloved granddaughter in this story. And I'll be speaking in her words, the granddaughter, and then I'll use a different voice for Grandma. Hope I don't get them switched. My grandma, who is 90 years plus, sat feebly on the patio bench. She didn't move. She just sat with her head down, staring at her hands. When I sat down beside her, she didn't acknowledge my presence. And the longer I sat, I wondered if she was really okay. Finally, not wanting to disturb her, but wanting to know if she was all right, I asked if she was okay. She slowly raised her head and looked at me and smiled. Yes, I'm fine, thank you for asking, dear, she said in a strong, clear voice. I didn't mean to disturb you, Grandma, but you were just sitting here staring at your hands, and I wanted to make sure you were okay. Have you ever looked at your hands? She asked. I mean, really looked at your hands. I slowly opened my hands and stared down at them. I turned them over, palms up, palms down. No, I guess I had never really looked closely at my hands. I tried to figure out the point that she was making. And then Grandma smiled and told me her story. These hands, though now wrinkled, shriveled, and weak, have been the tools I have used all my life to reach out and embrace it. They caught my falling when I was a little girl and crashed on the floor. They put food in my mouth and clothes on my back. They tied my shoes, pulled up my boots, and as a child, my mother taught me how to hold my hands in prayer. They have covered my face, combed my hair, and cleansed the rest of my body, and have been wet, dry, broken, and raw. They held your grandfather and wiped my tears when he went off to war. They wrote my letters to him. My wedding band on my left hand showed the world that I was married, and I loved him deeply, as he loved me. These hands have been dirty, scraped and raw, swollen and bent. They were uneasy and clumsy when I tried to hold my first newborn son, your father. My hands have held all my children and grandchildren, consoled neighbors, and my fists have shook in anger when I didn't trust someone or I didn't understand. They trembled and shook when I buried my husband and my parents. And to this day, when not much of anything else of me works well, these hands still hold me up, lay me down, and always continue to fold in prayer. These hands are the mark of where I have been and the joy and ruggedness of life itself. But more importantly, it will be these hands that God will reach out and take me when he leads me home, and with my hands he will lift me to his side, and there I will use these hands to touch the face of God. And now the closing words from the granddaughter. I will never look at my hands the same again. But I remember when God reached out and took my grandma's hand and led her home. And now, when my hands are hurt or sore, or when I stroke the faces of my children and husband, I think of my grandma and know that I too am being stroked and caressed and held in the hands of God. And now let us take a few moments to look at each of our hands and bless them for their gifts of loving service. Now let us hold our hands together gently in prayer for a few moments of gratitude and for God's most beautiful gift, our hands. Namaste.
I am called to be a healer for all humanity. I am called to be a dreamer, believe in what can be. I am called to be a maker, be an instrument of peace. I am called to be a giver, of abundance I receive. I am called to be a prayer, living out the truth I seek. I am called to be everything. I am called to be the glory here on earth, so I might see all the love and all the beauty that shines in you and me. I am the living, breathing God, and you are one in me. We are called to be. You are called to be a mother, to nurture family. You are called to be a brother, be strength in times of need. You are called to be a neighbor, see a friend in all you meet. You are called to be a leader, to build community. You are called to be a prayer, living out the truth you see. You are called to be everything. You are called to be. Called to be the glory here on earth, so all might see all the love and all the beauty that shine in you and me. We are the living, breathing God, and you are one in me. We are called to be peace, called to be joy, called to be love, called to be free, called to be peace, called to be joy, called to be free. We are called to be.
Wow, that's Jennifer Hart, and Tommy Cosentino. Are we called to be all that? Are we called to be all we're called to be? Absolutely. And you know what? I kind of putting that together with Beverley's reading, we do not have to wait like Grandma to pass on in order to touch the face of God. We are called to be that person that touches the face of God right now, right here, where we are, when we are. Why would we want to live 50, 60, 80, 100 years in anticipation of joy and beauty and truth and love and community when we are called to be in that right now? We don't have to wait for that. If we're waiting, if we're snoozing, we're losing, right? So, the title of today's talk is One Truth, Many Uses. Or, okay, truth is one, many uses. There is one truth. There are just a gazillion paths to it. This kind of sort of what the main theme is here. This from Rumi. Sunlight looks slightly different on this wall than it does on that wall. And a lot different on this other one. But it is still one light. There's still one source of that light. There's still one source of that power and that presence that includes and envelops and involves everything on this planet. There's only one. There's one truth. A lot of different ways to get there. 2 plus 2 equals 4. I mean, that's true. It doesn't equal 7. Doesn't equal 4.21. Doesn't equal 2/3. Just equals 4. That's the way it is. 5 plus 5 equals 10. That's true. But they're not different truths. They're just different methods of approaching the one mathematical truth. And that one mathematical truth is a part of that one absolute truth that guarantees order in our universe, that guarantees that life is as it should be. And just a reminder that everything that happens is neutral. Every occurrence on this planet is neutral. We classify it as good or bad or indifferent. That's the truth. The truth is, here we are, experiencing this life, seeing this world through the eyes of God. Speaking of the face of God. You know, Hinduism, they have a saying, it says, truth is one, but we know it by many different names. And we do. And we can go on and on and on with this stuff. I mean, if there's 14 billion people on the planet, there's 14 billion different perspectives of truth. And although, it's probably possible not to be looking at truth as it is, but to be looking with kind of a skewed vision, we have a tendency to do that. We're only human. But the fact is, when we get outside of ourselves, or when we get deep within ourselves, and we're looking with a clear vision through the eyes of God, that we have been provided with, we just don't always use all the time. But when we're looking at that, when we're looking at that with that single eye, at that absolute truth, everything else is going to fall into place. In his book, Man's Eternal Quest, Paramahansa Yogananda said this. I think I want to start with this one. He says confidently, be afraid of nothing, hating none, giving love to all, feeling the love of God, seeing his presence in everyone, and having but one desire, for his constant presence in the temple of your consciousness. That is the way to live in this world. Those who have other desires will not know true satisfaction, will not know the truth. When we get bogged down in those sorts of things that bog us down in this life, we temporarily lose sight of the goal, lose sight of the truth, lose sight of what is real. Reality isn't pulling into a parking lot and nudging the front fender of your car into a parking post. Does that happen? Sure. Is that a fact? Sure. Is that the truth of who you are? No. It's just something that happened. The truth of who we are is we are those extensions of God, just like the light on the wall from the sun. We all are radiating forth that divine light in a little bit different fashion. That doesn't make it other than what it is. It's still the light of God. It's still the truth. He also says this: you can be moral without being religious. But the principles of morality are a necessary beginning in the practice of religion, for true religion is different, deeper than morality. It is contact with God. You should not concentrate on your faults, nor think of yourself as a sinner. Affirm that you are a child of God and dwell on what Jesus said, I and my Father are one. And yet sometimes we get a little bit carried away. We get lost in the wrong sort of thought. We begin to believe some of this stuff we've been told, right? Some of this stuff that's been piled on us since birth. Some of this race consciousness that has a lot of negativity involved in it. I don't think we can get to God through theology. I mean, theology is an interesting thing, and people have made careers out of it. And it goes for some exciting reading and some more exciting conversation and listening. But we can't get there from here. Okay? If we want to know something about the truth, if we want to touch the face of God, if we want to know reality in its entirety, we can only do that by doing it, by being there. You can't get there from here. You can only be there while you're here. It's kind of a strange thing to say, but we have to be careful. A lot of times, and this is what they're talking about with the religion thing, a lot of times religion is not what we think it is, or it's not what would best serve us. Spirituality, no doubt, is, but sometimes we have, what would you call it? We can have mass hypnosis under the guise of religion. To wit, Jonestown. Some of us are old enough to remember Jonestown, others not. So for us, it's in the past. For others, it's just history. But the fact is, there were everybody's heard the expression drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
That's where it came from. Jim Jones and his cult all living together, 900 people, and they were so deceived and so blinded by a religion that they did not think in critical terms about, but rather just blindly, incredulously, ignorantly followed what somebody told them without using their own mind and heart and soul. And they all ended up, well, they call it murder-suicide, 900 people drinking it. They say drink the Kool-Aid. It actually wasn't Kool-Aid, but it was a flavored drink like that with cyanide in it. And the reason they call it murder-suicide is, I guess, there were a few who had begun to have second thoughts and they were forced into drinking the Kool-Aid. But we use that as a manner of saying, you know, just because somebody involved in your religion, and you could even say somebody involved in our spirituality, just because they say something doesn't make it so. Doesn't make it so at all. I mean, we can read, you know, Scripture is a great thing. We can read positivity in all the scriptures of the world, and, well, we can read negativity into them too. It's up to us to determine, remembering that all of these scriptures were written by people just like us. We have to be the ones to discern whether what is written is correct or whether what is written is, well, not correct. It's just made up by somebody. I mean, religion can be the greatest thing in the world, or it can be the worst thing in the world. It all depends on how you approach it and whether you let it rule you unconsciously, subconsciously, or whether you sift through it and take what's true for you. We have to ferret out the God of your understanding from all the possible scenarios of what God could or should or would be. Richard Rohr, from a Franciscan priest, thank you very much, from the Center of Action and Contemplation in New Mexico, said this: "We must be eternally conscious of this fact. For the untransformed self, religion is the most dangerous temptation of all. Our egos, when they are validated by religion, are given full permission to enslave, segregate, demean, defraud, and inflate." And I would add, and deflate also, because all bases are covered with prescribed virtue and a supposed hatred of evil. And you know what? We don't have to go anywhere to sort out whether that's correct or not. Just look around. All the wrong that's done in the name of religion, all the, no, I don't want to go there. That's it. I don't want to get up on the soapbox. Well, I guess I am on the soapbox, aren't I? But we don't want to be blindly following an ideology. To have faith and 100% of faith, and to listen to all the independent versions of reality, different approaches to truth, with an open mind, not with the idea that our version is the only correct one. And if we're looking with an open mind, do we have a version? Yeah, kind of. We've got this philosophy, this science of mind, but it's not something that tells you that you have to do this, or you have to be this way, or you have to be one of us, or you're one of them. It's not about us and other. It's about getting at that fundamental truth without which we're going to be fine. Let's face it. We could go through life. There are probably millions of people who have gone through life and never even had a hint at what the truth of life is. So we're going to be okay if we don't. But on the other hand, if we do, we're going to go shoot so far beyond okay, it's just going to be incredible. We're going to have everything that we want to have, and we're going to have it in spades. I mean, when we understand that that one power and that one presence is everywhere all the time, and it's available for us to use, as a matter of fact, we are created from it with the intention of us using it. If we don't use it, no harm, no foul. We just don't advance to that point where life is always good, where life is understandable, and where we touch the face of God on a daily basis at will. At will, when we want. When we understand that, and we clear away everything that's not that, that's in the way of us seeing that, when we get the shade out of our eyes, what a glorious way to pass through this existence. I almost forgot a couple things that I forgot. My affirmation. Everybody got an affirmation? I now choose to release every negative, destructive, fearful idea and thought from my mind and my life. Damn, that's a mouthful. And yeah, I probably shouldn't say this, but in some of our cases it's more work, more removal work than we hope it could be. But there's a lot going on right there. So we have to be careful to not drink the Kool-Aid. We have to be careful to keep our own single eye on that which the master teacher Jesus called the kingdom of heaven. And we have to remember that he wasn't talking about the kingdom of heaven as a place where we can go after we die and have, I don't know, ice cream and cookies all day, every day. That's not what it's about. What he meant was the kingdom of heaven. Paradise is right here, right now. It's available to us. We're living in it, and if we're not understanding that and we're not collecting all the good that comes from that, who's that on? It's only on us. All we need to do is look at things with a little bit different perspective. We have to be careful so to not drink the Kool-Aid, to not just take things without our own discerning thought telling us that that is so, that is the truth, that is one way of many, 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 many ways to that one truth. It's kind of like if we were climbing a mountain and I was on one side and you were on the other. And about halfway up I realized that I haven't seen you. Oh, you're on, oh yeah, you're on the other side of the mountain. And I get on my walkie-talkie and I say, dude, you need to get over here or you're never going to get to the top. I'm on the path. I got the path right here. You need to get over here. But of course, you're not going to go all the way back down and run around to the other side and catch up with me. But there's a very good possibility that you're going to already be sitting at the top when I get there. Because there's not just that one path, not just that one trail. Each of us makes our own path. It unfolds before us. And how does it unfold? We know that in this teaching. It unfolds due exactly to our thought processes. We can allow it to unfold in a, fairly straight, crooked manner, or in a very crooked, straight manner. We're still going to get there. Everything is going to lead us to that same place. So, I had one thing that I wanted to, oh yeah. This is great advice. Scripture commands us to seek and warns us not to be ever learning, but never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. This way of being is as bad as its evil twin. Never learning, but always believing we know the truth. So, we can be constantly reading and studying and listening and watching videos and going to church and finding, the way, in most cases, the only way to get there from here. And we can be doing that forever and never arrive at the truth. Because there's a lot of confusing things, and there's a lot of things that contradict each other in a path, on a path toward this reality with a capital R. Or on the other hand, we can never look for it because, well, we already know our way's the only way. We've been taught that, haven't we? We've all been taught something, and it's not our fault. It's not our fault that we have beliefs that don't really further us in our spiritual truth trip. But it is our fault if we understand that there's a possibility that we've been led astray a little bit, and there is another way, and we're open to hearing about it. It's like Tomoko was talking earlier about the Open at the Top series. Open at the top, meaning if I don't listen to your point of view, to your perspective, do I have to hear it and adopt it and say, yeah, God, that's the gospel? Well, absolutely, I was so wrong. Now I got a new way, and you know what? It is the only way. No, that's not what it's about. It's about listening. It's about watching. It's about allowing that diversity. Diversity is not a bad thing. We should expect diversity. We shouldn't just, acquiesce in it. Okay? We shouldn't just tolerate it. We should expect it. We should honor it. We should celebrate it. Because it's every different thing we see or hear is another method of that divine voice speaking to us through something else, through something that we are not. How would we like to be the Stepford wives? I don't think that'd be very exciting at all. I think we'd much rather be ourselves, make our own mistakes, find our own way, enjoy our own discoveries, and know that our own path to that one truth, to that life in the divine mind and that consciousness that grounds all being is our life. We are part of it. It is all of us. There's not a single thing in my makeup that is not divine. There's not a single thing within the confines of my body and my mind and my consciousness that's not divinely ordained. Now, I may choose not to use it, or I may choose not to even ever learn about it, but that doesn't change anything. If there's something going on, if there's a fact out here, but we don't know it, doesn't mean that fact isn't still there. It just means we don't know it. That's why it's so important to be open to receive all these clues, all these little mini directions, these possibilities. We call it the infinite field of potentiality, that infinite field of possibility. Because there's more than we could possibly ever hear, see, feel, taste, touch. And we don't need to touch them all. We only need to touch those that lead us directly on that path to where we want to be. We only need to touch those that lead us to that ability that we have, that we need to uncover, that ability to touch the face of God where we are, when we are. And how do we do it? Practice, practice, practice. Who's ever been on a youth sports team? Practice, practice, practice. That's all we do. And that's the same with our spirituality. So, and when we do that, that's kind of it encourages us to be able to adapt to different situations as they happen. If we're don't have some openness, we don't have any adaptability. So when something comes along and we are not fluid, we don't have that ability to be open to receive, and somebody makes a strong case for drinking that grape-flavored drink with the cyanide in it, we might just do that and not ever know the difference, not realize that we didn't have to. We could have just said no. Who's that? There's a corporation that just say no, right? Or there's a big ad campaign they had about something, I think drugs, just say no. It also, it builds our community. If everybody is closed-minded in a group, where's the growth? But if everybody is open-minded in the group, if everybody is willing to hear, willing to listen to something differently, the expansion possibilities are innumerable. We can't even possibly ever count them all, let alone know all of them. That's how we evolve. That's how we evolve spiritually. That's how our spiritual awareness grows and grows and grows. And just so we've got to remember, there's nothing static on this plane of existence. We're either going forward or we're going back, but we're moving all the time. Nothing, there's no such thing as status quo. So if we're going to be doing that, why don't we move forward? Why don't we spring forward? Why don't we keep our eye on the prize and know that there is one truth, and maybe the way I'm heading for it right now is working. Well, for sure it's working. But what if I could quicken that pace a little bit? What if I could listen to somebody else and get a little leg up, as we say on this? What if somebody else can give me a suggestion that would give me a quantum leap in my path to that absolute truth? Wouldn't I be foolish not to take it? So let's just know this, that when we are open to this, when we allow the appeal of other thought process to enter into our own and to take a look at it, that we are involving ourselves in a more flexible, inclusive, deeply human way of engaging with that reality, capital R. When we refuse to stagnate, when we refuse to stop and say, my way is the only way, when we listen to that voice of God, because it is the voice of God that is spoken through everybody individually in their own manner, in their own fashion, in their own style, still all thought is divine. All thought comes from that one source, because remember, there is only one source. There is only that one power. There's only that one truth, and all other truths, all other powers, all other sources are subsets of that one absolute truth. That truth that was here before this universe was and will remain constant billions of years after this universe is gone. Because that one truth is that divine absolute mind. It is that mind of God. It is that life principle without which nothing could exist, and within which anything is possible. Anything can come into being. And knowing that I'm part of that anything, I'm part of that life principle, that it evolves me as it works in, as, and through me, and carries me up to that absolute truth on my own spiritual, personal path, as it does for every other individual. What a great feeling to know that we are divinely inspired, and that the ultimate goal of our entire existence is to reunite with that divine consciousness, and to know it in its fullness, and to touch that face of God. And we can do that at any time. We can do that with a thought. Knowing that this is the case, it's just with grateful heart I say, thank you, God, for this. And I just let this word go into that spiritual law, knowing that it is already so. The answer is already yes, that God and I are one. So it is. right, so this is our opportunity to share our abundance, knowing that all of our abundance, all of our prosperity comes from that one source, God, and for this we are grateful. Thank you from the bottom of our spiritual center heart for your continued support, knowing it's that support that keeps us going, keeps us viable, keeps us a valid force in this community and in the spiritual community. And for those not in the sanctuary but supporting from afar, thank you. And let's just know that we bless these gifts, these tithes, these offerings, knowing that they're given from the central core of who we are, which is God made manifest on this plane. We send them forth to do their great work in the world with no strings and no condition. So that's what
There was a boy, a very strange, enchanted boy. They say he wandered very far, over land and sea. A little shy and sad of eye, oh, but very wise was he. And then one day, one magic day, he passed my way. And as we spoke of many things, fools and kings, this he said to me: the greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return. Then one day, one magic day, he passed my way. And as we spoke of many things, fools and kings, this he said to me: the greatest thing you will ever learn is just to love and be loved in return.
Wow. That's the whole talk right there. Jennifer Hart.
That's why I did it after your talk.
Oh, Tommy Cosentino. Man, I love that song. And something incredible is happening through me right now.
Something incredible is happening through me right now.
It's this thing called life.
It's this thing called life.
It's this thing called truth.
It's this thing called truth.
It's this thing called loving.
It's this thing called loving.
And being loved.
And being loved.
It fills me.
It fills me.
It is the truth of my being.
It is the truth of my being.
Thank you, God, in me.
Thank you, God, in me.